Hey there guys, Music Fan here, how you guys doing? We're gonna go on an album review of the new Blink-182 album. California was released July 1st, yesterday actually. So yeah, let's get talking about this album. As you can see, well, as you're about to see in the moment, the way I'm gonna conduct this is gonna be a little different than prior reviews that I've done in the past. If you wanna know why, check my video on the link on the description below for more detailed information. With that said, we're gonna go straight into the review, or at least the new format of the review. Yeah, let's get to it. First track, Cynical. I honestly didn't really know what to expect going into this album. Of course, I had my certain reservations going into this record before the eventual release date. But as soon as like Mark's singing comes in the forefront, and then the song segues into this ripping, punk rockish, very sunny kind of like guitars that comes in, including Travis Barker's drumming. It's awesome, just simply freaking brilliant. Like it really spells what this whole album is going to take, where the past Blink albums were a little bit more experimental, like ever since 2003's Untitled album. They've kind of like strayed away from their simple straight ahead pop punk style. And the Neighborhoods did try to do that a little bit, but it was a bit shade darker and with more experimentalness in that album. Whereas this song lets you know straight away that Blink-182, along with also the new vocalist Matt Skiba of Alkaline Trio, is about to head back into the basics, back to the roots of what makes Blink-182 Blink-182, which is fast punk rock riffs, very sunny, bright melodies, and just Travis Barker's super awesome drumming on this. And this song spells it right here. Blink-182 is back. And yeah, I was really impressed with this song. I really, really was. I mean, like Matt Skiba, even though I've only heard Alkaline Trio's first album thus far. I may go into a review of that in the future, but he seriously impressed me with this song. Like, I mean, just the, like, what's the point in saying sorry? Just the way he pushes intensity in that song, the way he just vocalizes his harmonies in the chorus of this particular track. It's awesome. It's really just straight ahead, no bones, no messing around, pure pop punk rock music. And it's short, it's sweet, and straight to the point, and it's just an awesome start for this album. I was really hooked, and now wondering what's going to come next. Of course, the next track, of course, is Bored to Death. I already made a track review of this song. If you want to hear my thoughts of that song, head to the description box below with a link on the bottom. And yeah, I can't say that my opinion of that song has changed since I first heard it. It's still an awesome track, still has great, fantastic drumming from Travis, and great vocal interplay between Matt and Mark. Definitely an awesome song. Third track, She's Out of Her Mind. Awesome song, just purely amazing track. Definitely at first I didn't really take too kindly with the O's, because I thought it was too Tom DeLonge, Angels and Airwaves-esque. But the more I heard this track, the more I kind of thought this really suited the band really well. I mean, the way that Matt Skiba does it. I mean, he's no Tom DeLonge, obviously, and he's not the most talented, like technical, talented vocalist in the business, but neither was Tom for that matter. So not to say that there wasn't a legacy or wasn't a standard to be held up to, but it really didn't matter at this point, because Matt really brought his A game into this album, and especially this song. And I think the O's sound a lot better with this track than from Matt Skiba than it does with Mark. Of course, my personal opinion is what I think. Um, and of course, freaking ripping drumming from Travis as always. Los Angeles, the fourth track. Wow, this is seriously just such a ripping song. The song just comes in and just shreds everything. I mean, it's no hardcore kind of song or even post-hardcore kind of song, but it's a song that really, again, it brings Blink back into that pure, sweet pop punk goodness, like that sunny, bright melodies of California. That is very, that's very evocative of Blink. Even though this is going to sound strange, it kind of reminds me of Stockholm Syndrome from Untitled. I don't know why, but something, probably in the melody or probably in the rhythms or, you know, the intensity of that track. It's not nearly as dark as that track in particular, but Los Angeles kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Maybe it has to do with the melody, probably, but it's awesome. Sober, man, this is such an awesome song. Like, I mean, like, just the way Mark Hoppus sings, though. You know, so let me call you when I'm sober. Just that his vocal harmonies, the way he puts those harmonies up in that verse part in that song. It's just awesome. It just really creates such a catchy quality to this album. You know, like great chorus vocal harmonies from Mark. Of course, Matt Skiba does a fantastic job as well. Travis, super awesome as always. You know, all these tracks up until this point really got me super hopeful for this album. Like, this album is just a return to that pure basicness of what made Blink Blink, and that this is not as trashy, or it's not as, you know, like Cheshire Cat, for example, but it's an album that really acknowledges Blink's past in a way that a Blink album hasn't since Untitled or since Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. Anyway, moving on. Built This Pool. Speaking of returning to basics, this track is very short, it's very sweet to the point, but just hear the lyrics. It's very short, 30 seconds, I think, which is kind of interesting because ever since Untitled, Blink Blink and Boxcar, and even Angels to a certain extent, has messed around with very short interlude instrumental songs. But here with this album, it really takes that concept that has been such a what's the expression I'm looking for? Trump card, not necessarily, but trump card for Blink and their side projects, the interludes, the very short songs. They do it so much differently here, and with this song, Built This Pool, it's so, wow. Like, it's not full of toilet humor or trashy humor as the previous Blink albums, especially with Cheshire Cat and the Takeoff album, but it's a funny track. It's really a funny song, and it's a refreshing song. This really gives this album an added flavor, a much needed flavor of a much needed sense of humor with Blink that we haven't heard from them in years, and this is just awesome, even though it's just 30 seconds in. It just makes me laugh every time. No Future. I mean, like, when I first heard this song about a month ago, I really loved this song, and in a way I still do love this song. Nowadays, though, I like it. I love the vocal interplay between Mark and Matt Skiba in the chorus of this particular track, you know, like, and Skiba does sound amazing on this track. The way he sings "No Future" in this song, you know, it's just pretty cool. It's a pretty cool, straight ahead pop punk song, and it's just awesome. Home Is Such a Lonely Place. Wow, the first time I heard this song, I thought it sounded a lot like Boxing Day from Dogs Eating Dogs. I thought so. Like it's without the indie beat that accompanies that song. But I'm really digging. I really love the lyrics. I really do. And the whole acoustic vibe of this track is just simply phenomenal. This is one of those very melodious kind of tracks that is characteristic of this song, and it's just simply awesome. It's probably one of my favorites off the album for me personally. I just love the melody, the way the melody just evokes a sense of emotion in this song. The instrumental interplay between Mark and Matt, Travis drumming, of course, great. Yeah, one of my favorites off this album. It's just simply, I love it. I love this song. Home is such a lonely place. Kings of the Weekend. Travis has just great, sweet-sounding cymbals in this particular track. The way he hits those cymbals there, and the way he plays around with that hi-hat a little bit in the, I think it's the chorus of the track. Reminds me of After Midnight from Neighborhoods, except it's a much more energetic and fast-paced song than that other track. The thing that makes me just laugh, but in a good way, it's the scream that's in the middle of this song. I think it's most likely Matt Skiba doing that scream, and I'm like, what the heck was that? But I can't tell if it was Mark or Matt, but I think it was Matt Skiba. But amazing track, I love it. Teenage Satellites. Honestly, I didn't really feel this track as I have with the others. I don't know why. It's just a track that I feel that does the job good, but for some reason it doesn't get to me as intensely as the other songs do. However, Travis's drumming definitely highlights this song. It picks up this song a little more than what the song is. This could be another person's favorite track, but all power to you. Probably my least favorite track off this album, in my opinion at least. Left Alone. I love the kind of spacey intro vibe of this song. It kind of reminds me of Asthenia from the Untitled record, except it doesn't have the intro spoken word thing in the beginning. I really love the way Mark's bass playing in this song sounds so spacey, and the way it just segue from the verse to the chorus of this track. Everyone is just on fine form here. Everybody, it's just simply awesome. Rabbit Hole. Probably another if you would talk to me a month or so ago about this song, I would have told you that it's probably my least favorite track off this album. It's probably now my second least favorite, next to what was that other track before? Teenage Satellites. But it's a song I'm liking just a little bit more than the other track, for me at least. I mean, I love the energy, the interplay between Matt and Mark Hoppus in this song, but I kind of think that the chorus of this song kind of drags it down a bit, for me at least. Still a good song, which I definitely like. But again, my second least favorite track off this album. San Diego. I really like this song. I can't say that it's amongst the best here, at least in my opinion. At least I don't think it ranks along with Cynical and Bored to Death and Home is Such a Lonely Place, but it's still a good track nonetheless. It's still a good song. It has great melodies, fantastic playing. Matt Skiba is great. Mark Hoppus is great also. Travis, what else can I say about Travis? It's a pretty cool song and I like it. The only thing that matters, another one of my favorite songs off this album. I love it. This song is just super fast, super punk rock, super melodious, with so much harmonies and vocals in this song. It's so fast paced. It's such a straightforward basic, no fooling around punk rock, California punk rock with this song. It's simply awesome. Yeah, I love this song. I really do. California, the title track. This one is super nice. Something about this has kind of a Beach Boys-esque harmonies to it, but it's not to the point where it's very imitating of the Beach Boys. Just great lyrics. It kind of is a slightly dark with the lyrical writing of this song, while at the same time it has a bit of that sunny brightness of California with this track. Although the only thing I have to say here is that it does make me miss Tom DeLonge a little bit on this track. I mean, throughout this whole album, throughout these songs, I kept thinking of what would Tom do with this particular song if he was still in the band, he was creating these harmonies and whatnot. Not that he was a great vocalist to begin with, but he matured as the band went along. But yeah, it's a super nice track. I definitely like this song. And Bohemian Rhapsody, the last track, another short 30-second track. Again, short, sweet, to the point. Initially, I thought this song had a very weak lyric, that it didn't really had any substance to it, but then you connect the lyric with the title and yeah, you can tell. Take that as you will. But, overall I have to say that this whole album, California, is just, it's not so much a reinvention, but it's a resurgence, it's a renewal for this band. Like, as I mentioned in my Bored to Death album review, I felt that this album was heading into a direction where it would revitalize Blink-182, their artistic integrity, their musical prowess, and just really brighten things up again. And while I have nothing at all against the more experimental albums of Blink's discography, which I personally am a huge fan of Untitled and Neighborhoods, this album, I have to say, it's by far their best album, I have to say, since the Untitled record. In my personal opinion, this album really brings back that essence of Blink, back to that pure pop punk California sound that they are so known for, and how they got their career going because of that. Of course, this is also due to John Fieldman, who is also the lead singer of Goldfinger, a punk rock band from California. He helped produce this album, and he really brought in the reins in closer with this album, and all of them did a great job. And as for Matt Skiba, for me, I had my personal reservations, but after listening to this entire album, I can definitely say that the Blink legacy is definitely safe with Matt Skiba. He did a fantastic, awesome job with all these songs, with all these tracks. Just such a fantastic job. Of course, he's no Tom DeLonge, and he's not a great vocalist per se, at least as far as I know. But neither was Tom DeLonge. But they made with what they had, and they did it to the best of their ability. And Matt, I think, did a fantastic job. For me personally, Blink-182 will always be, for me, Mark, Tom, and Travis. For me, that's always going to be Blink-182 for me. But with the way that it stands now, I really don't mind much with the Mark, Matt, and Travis show at this point. This album is just such a revitalization for Blink. It's just a phenomenal, fantastic album. Their best since Untitled. I mean, a couple of songs here and there, like Teenage Satellites and what's the other song? I can't remember, but kind of drags it down just a little bit here for me, but they don't detract anything from me from this album. As for a rating, I would give this album a 4.9 out of 5. It's definitely a fantastic album. Probably Blink's best album in years, and that's all I have to say about that. 2 thumbs up for this album. Yeah, those are all my thoughts on every track of this album. Tell me what you think. Do you love this album? Do you hate this album? Why or why not? Let me know your thoughts. And yeah, that's pretty much it. This is the new format of my video reviews. So Blink-182, California. I'll see you guys next time, and take care. See you later.